Fortune's been down for a couple of days now, and it's somewhat painful to see it go out this way. The last time I used the site, the basic principle was airtight, posting reaction images and schizo posts and just being abrasive. This was the basic main formula for internet creativity and energy. And to see it go this way sorta hurts, and it's especially because what was it? I think it was founded 2002 or 1 or 3, I don't know. And till 2012 it was sold to Hiroshi Mood, and this guy was responsible in maintaining the site. And the logs, the hack itself apparently was because 2016 was the last updated version of PHP or something, and the way it was written also very poorly, so no maintaining character whatsoever. And if you consider the fact that this site brought in millions, maybe even billions, alone in advertisement and all this stuff, and everyone was always complaining on GIF. It was Webm support, but only Webm VP8, not VP9, so already outdated, fresh from the start for 1.5 decades. So it was just a question of time until somebody hacked them. It's quite funny to see why and how and what, because of, what was it, Soy-chan or something like this, where they posted soy jacks all day. Even the mere existence, I didn't even know this stuff existed, and for removing QA sector and whatnot. This is quite funny and weird at the same time. And I think the main turning point for me, it was always abrasive, obnoxious, cancerous, and some people say it was always the same cancer on repeat. And but you can see at some point this was only bot generated, 99.99999% bots. We're talking with bots, and we're talking like bots, not artificial intelligence, not what was this Taylor? What was this one artificial intelligence chatbot which Fortune turned into a Nazi after some training data or whatnot? No, this was just simple dumb bots, always posting the same time, the same stuff, always the same left-wing or right-wing propaganda bullshit. And if it was not that, it was cancerous, not funny stuff. And a friend of mine also said it was what was it? Twitter. It's Twitter. And he wasn't so off by that, because Fortune was some sort of bad rapper around these Twitter things, because it had just become Twitter screenshots and Twitter. People weren't even writing anything anymore, It was just somebody searched something in a tweet and made a screen cap of it and posted the screen cap. Very, very weird. And nothing more happened, There was no interaction, there was no communication in any sort of way. And this is what is there to gain if there are just raging botnets on the side? And the funny thing is also, they were always joking about how 3 letters glow also bright in the dark. Turns out it was actually, .edu and .gov email addresses and whatnot. And this makes the stuff very conspicuous, because all the schizo ramblings were true all along, all the government is behind it all, they were all right about it. That's the funny thing about it. I like this very much, because it doesn't matter how paranoid you are, you're at some point right. And this is not a comforting thought, because this means everyone is always out there to get you. And as in help, like in the Onion post about paranoia, paranoid schizophrenics, yeah. And yeah, what else is there to say? I tried like last week or so to access the site. It's like really down. As a matter of fact, I mean, how far do you have to be up your own ass that you don't invest anything in modern technology, just like 2016's version code somewhat exploited, just because you fucked with one board, you removed one board. And yeah, this is this couldn't have been worse. I mean, he gained so much money and traction and whatnot. Why not spend it on some proper engineers maintaining the website in a modern form? And the fact that it was written so poorly, apparently, amazes me even more, because this is like a high level domain. I wonder if the hackers are able to sell this domain, or if it gets sold after a couple of years or decades, because something like 4chan.org would have been is quite an holy shit, is that bright? It's just a green traffic light. Quite an expensive domain name to get that. Yeah, what else is there to say? I mean, I put a couple of years in this website, sorta. At the beginning I was like, this is dumb. I got banned for nothing. Then a friend of mine told me, yeah, that's how they are, because they are funny, Then I tried it again. I started lurking, I think 2012, 13, 14, 15, And I was like reading all about this stuff, 16, 17, 18, yeah. And I got like really into the images and reaction images and the lore and the memes and the everything, But websites are basically like human history. There's like every couple of years or every couple of decades or centuries, there's like one country, they're like the best, and then they fail miserably, like Greece Empire, the Greek Empire, and Greece nowadays, and Rome and Italy and whatnot, and this is like history repeats itself in an analogy to this with websites. There's a moment for some websites where they really shine bright like a diamond, shine bright like a, but this spot is over, and there have been many copycats. I for one, I use like Lane Chan, also not bad. And I remember there was also 8chan, and of course 16, 32, 64-bit, 32. No, yeah, also sites like these. But overall, I mean, Rip and Restorino, man. This is so weird to see. Like, this is such an integral part of internet culture. To see the site gone is a big chunk is missing. And yeah, it's not helpful that other social media like Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or WhatsApp, but you know what I mean, or X, are replacing this stuff, because why? There's no reason, and nothing compares to these to 4chan. I mean, I don't know if 2chan still alive and active. Would be interesting to see. The next thing is, it's like one thing to say, haha, you guys, you had a badly written or badly protected website within 2016 exploit. But the fact of the matter is, if it wasn't for this guy, how long would have taken it for the other people to hack this site after months or years? Because this is an 8-year-old exploit. How do you know when you look for an exploit? How do you know which sort of timing or target you're looking at? And especially, I think you especially need to find out which language it was written. I think it was PHP. and I didn't know much so far. I know for simpler logic handling on the back end there is PHP, which is quite good, and it sort of gives over control in JavaScript form. But at which point do you say PHP with JavaScript is sufficient, and at which point you say no, now let's get into Node.js and all this other stuff, because I don't know, I really don't know the answer to that. When is the perfect spot when you say, okay, this is the threshold of PHP, you can't progress any further? At this point we are forced to go to Node.js and rewrite everything. And not just that, I mean, the website itself, it's easier said than done, you know? Like saying, I redo my own 4chan sort of thing. I mean, the basic theory concept is pretty easy, but I tried something out the other day, and it was as a code viber, as a self-prescribed vibe coder, yeah. I tried out myself some videos and pictures and hosting them locally as from my PC to my PC as a local host site, and I ran into some issues that I didn't expect. And especially there's this thing, you know, I feel it. You can really feel it when you wipe code versus when you write your website. I know I can't write jack shit without AI, but I also know one or two things about websites, how and why they work. And the thing is, you come to realize there is, even though I know one or two things, I'm sort of like, I feel like when I'm doing this vibe coding, you know, for my own website, it's like a rat nibbling on a pizza, you know. The pizza is the whole website, and you're just like a rat nibbling from all sides, you know, all around. You're taking small little bites here and there and everywhere. This is your comprehension, you know. You're grasping 1 or 2% of the concepts that the AI provides you. On one hand, it's beautiful because it's so fast. On the other hand, you know, it's black box magic. What is really happening? Did you approve and sign and verify those zeros and ones written in your memory in form of, what is it, dual data DDR memory? You know what I mean? You know, RAM, dedicated RAM. On the other hand, you know what happens on your hard drive and what happens on your screen, which part gets sort of encoded or decoded, displayed, you know, visualized, printed. And I mean, some issues I had for years, nobody explained it to me, like, but there was I was always wondering, programming, why do you have to write print when you program? I mean, you're printing sort of the picture to the screen, but what does that have to do with a real printer? Turns out a lot, because back then we didn't have monitors and displays and whatnot. That's why this stuff is for. But still, I mean, the more I vibe code, the more I realize I'm just nibbling and nibbling and nibbling. But as a tired old fat rat, you know, eating and eating and eating, like I'm chipping away a mouse rat-sized bites, you know, very small, tiny bites. And if you really want to progress with this website shit, you gotta write it all by yourself. The more painful, the better, which is kinda, weird, because then I think to myself, but I'm lacking the experience, of course. So when I Google this stuff and read it via documentation or do some script kiddie like stealing of code, then there's also a learning curve effect thing happening. And if so, why? Why should I learn from this more why do I learn more if I type something into Google and then what is it? Stack Overflow and copy out some chunks and paste it. And why is the learning process higher? Just because it took me more time to search the information? Therefore, is there an analogy to be made between painful and slow gathering of information and realizing the sort of data or information that you've got? By this logic, this would mean old computers which had tape cassettes to load in games and programs and whatnot. By this logic, would it mean the more painful I code, the more I think about it? Like, this is also an issue you're experiencing when you think about it, because when your IDE, you type something in, your IDE puts it out. For you, it's just like, yeah, sure, why shouldn't it put this shit out? But have you looked at a fucking IDE? This has like 20 steps between reading your human-like sort of code. Let's suppose you're not writing low-level stuff, and you write your high-level code. Then it gets translated to these 20 layers and whatnot, and converts it into I think binary code and maybe some assembly stuff. And that's how the computer and you are talking. And we sort of neglect this kind of fact. You have to. What I'm saying is, you should thank your IDE for working so fast. Appreciate it. I think you kids don't know. You kids don't know how good you have it. Sort of that saying. No, but seriously, think about all the processes that are happening when you touch something like that. And yeah, this is like the fact remains. This is something you always learn about, a new layer, a new abstraction, which could fail. Let's say the hardware is airtight, your code is airtight, so then there is the IDE. I don't know how it is with you, but some devs, most devs, probably use one IDE for multiple languages, and that's it. And who tells you, really, that all these IDEs do somewhat the same and that they execute code the way that they should execute it? I mean, the funny thing is, while my paranoia is quite high, that I think this might fail and that might fail, and I might even name the nodes in the chain from your mental synapses, energy electrons firing into your brain impulse sort of thing, to your eyes and hands, typing this sort of shit, going through the USB wire into the PC. I can't tell you exactly, even though I know the names somewhat, what's happening into the screen, into the compiler, into whatever. I cannot tell you where the issue might appear and what might fix it. And jumping from IDE to IDE doesn't sound so delicious either. So keep in mind, for me it's like always this Tower of Babylon, of a bubble, just like just Jenga towers, very, very wonky. And as if it wouldn't be like a big problem enough, we even enhance the problems by putting AI on this pedestal as well. This is like these competitions where they have like, what is it, falling down protection gear? What is this? Okay. Yeah, some scam stuff. Where people stack beer crates like pyramids and they run on them. And they have like falling down protection. Yeah. And this is what it feels like. We're putting another beer crate on top of it, and we're still not amazed that all this stuff runs, but we should be amazed because there is such a long chain downwards, and we're trending towards a sort of downfall to analyze these things. What is the ironic thing I do while I'm still complaining to understand and grasp these concepts? I use AI to ask which might be my logical faults here and there to decipher where I could debug and resolve this issue. There must be some sort of healthy balance between doing all the shit yourself, like God intended, and asking for help in order to multiply the speed of finishing, reaching your target goal faster. And that is the crux. That is the main crux of my video essay I wanted to tell you. I hope this gives you some clearer information and insight what my thoughts are about this subject. See you and goodbye.